Hello guys, welcome back to Open Eyes. Today we have Mr. Jonathan
Krietenmeyer
and Jaiden Ciantar.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, there we go. Alright. And I'm your host Orkojeet Banerji, and today we'll be talking about the NFL players.
The NFL player.
Why is this issue exactly controversial? Yeah.
Alright, so what happened? This started a while ago actually. It started in the preseason of last season. So in the preseason game, which is funny. Funny how they have national anthems for preseason games. I mean, in Australia, we only have national anthems for finals in the Anzac Day game, which shows how much more I think the anthem, the flag, is sort of valued by American people. But it was the first person to take a knee in this sort of situation was Colin Kaepernick, who was the former quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and he took a knee.
Knowledge.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
He took a knee after I think it was one of the shootings that occurred where a policeman shot a black man.
African American.
So he against to make a statement about that. Now initially when he did that he copped a lot of criticism and didn't get as much support as what we've seen this recent wave of it.
Yeah.
So he did that then, and then a couple of other players slowly started to do it. But then this sprung to life again about 2 weeks ago, when I think it was Trump said in one of his press conferences, he said he was talking about the issue, and he said, "Wouldn't it be great if all the owners got together and told that to get fired, or you're fired or something?" So that really sparked.
Yeah.
And then that was I think on a Friday or a Saturday. So that Sunday when all the games were, a lot more players took a knee.
They're just trying to trigger Donald Trump, I think.
And then at the same time, Donald Trump was also in a bit of hot water with the basketballers, because Steph Curry in a press conference said how the team was going to deliberate and decide whether they go to the White House, which is common tradition for the teams to go to the White House to visit the president after they win the title. Steph said that they were going to have a meeting about it and discuss it, and then Trump put out a tweet saying that they were stalling, and as a result, the invitation.
The indecisiveness has neglected their invitation to the White House.
Which then led
specifically Steph Curry's.
Which then led Trump to LeBron James to put out a tweet calling Mr. Trump a bum, and this became one of the most liked tweets, I think.
Mr. Trump a bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
Yeah. And so that's what has happened recently.
Called him out on Instagram.
It's funny. If you compare the NFL and the NBA, so the NBA has a specific rule saying that players must stand for the national anthem. And back in the 90s, Abdul Rauf, which was a player, I think he was playing for Denver at the time.
What the hell?
I think he became a Muslim, and around that time he was playing, he decided that he didn't want to stand for the anthem because he wasn't happy with the tyranny or whatever that he thought the US government was doing. So he decided to not stand for the anthem, and as a result he ended up getting kicked out of the league basically. So they could have pushed him out of the league, even though he was playing quite well at that time. And same thing with Kaepernick. Kaepernick, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Kaepernick. He's probably not the best quarterback in the league, but he's certainly in the top 64 quarterbacks. So he should have a spot somewhere. But earlier today I saw that there was a report that the Tennessee Titans, because they lost Marcus Mariota, their starting quarterback, he's injured, so they declined to give Kaepernick a chance to try out to play for them, which seems quite unfortunate because it was only a couple of years ago that Kaepernick led the 49ers to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It took them quite deep, so it seems that they see that NFL owners are unwilling to allow or to sign cabinet because of the stand he took.
Yeah.
Which is quite unfortunate.
And do you think that players should be allowed to do what they want during the national anthem in terms of freedom of speech, or is it a violation of it? Jaiden?
Well, yeah, it's America stands heavily when it comes to freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And a lot of these protests are freedom of speech, technically. And with the president himself, not allowing them freedom of speech, it's quite it's a lot of controversy about it, and especially because they're having their knee down for like a very specific and like good reason. It's not like they're just doing it out of disrespect to America and their freedom and their patriarchy and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, it's very debatable when it comes to respect for the actual game itself.
Yeah.
Because everyone does it. Everyone stands up for the national anthem, with their arm across their chest.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could say it's a violation of freedom of speech when the president is telling them to not do it. And
yeah, and but this Trump situation, right, and this whole NFL linebacker thing, what I find really ironic is that he's taking such a hard stance on this and calling out these NFL players who are bending their knee. But in the Charlottesville riots, when there were clear white nationalists saying that, oh, kill the Jews and blah blah blah, he's like, oh, there have been bad people on both sides.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, and there was a lot of controversy around that because people were saying it was like terrorists and things like that. They were saying like it was terrorists, but because they were white, they weren't regarded as terrorists.
Yeah.
So if they were Muslim, for instance,
Trump would have gone.
Yeah, straight away. It would have been
like,
terrorism straight away. ISIS, whatever.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is, I think in America it's probably hard for us to understand, but they really value their flag and the national anthem, and it's something they elevate to a much higher status. And I think if you think about Trump's sort of supporter base, they're probably likely to be the people who are very strong on respecting the flag. So if he calls out these people for disrespecting the flag, he's just revving up his own side, making them more sort of engaged behind him.
But even if that's the case, it's still not right.
No, I'm not saying it's right, but that's, if you want to look for a reason to why he's doing it. Yeah,
but Trump's such an idiot. He's such an idiot. People are saying, oh, he's a businessman, he'll run America like a business, and yeah, he will run America like a business. That's the problem.
Straight down.
I just don't get the guy sometimes. He's such an idiot. Now, he doesn't condemn Charlottesville, but bending the knee is a huge problem. He is going against innocent Muslim people. Like, obviously, there are bad Muslim people, but there are bad Christian people as well.
There's bad people in general.
There are bad people in general. And to a certain extent, I can understand that the Middle Eastern nations do have, many Middle Eastern nations do have many backward values, right? But, yeah, it just doesn't, I just don't get the guy. Yeah.
No. I think that's the majority of the world. No one understands him.
Yeah. How is he in the White House?
He won a democratic election.
Yeah.
Who even knows?
No, but the funny part about America, right, is that the elections that happened, only 47% of people actually voted. Which means that he has been elected by 25% of the country.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the candidates. You got Hillary.
You got Hillary and then you got Trump. Like, both of them are horrible.
Yeah.
Like, if you're calling Trump horrible, I call Hillary horrible as well.
But I'd say that Hillary, this is a talk about NRL, but...
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, NFL, sorry. But Hillary was obviously the better candidate out of the two. Because, he's just a businessman, a small loan of $1 million. I mean,
if you go for it and you win it, I guess you gotta, actually front up to work.
Obviously the wall was very convincing.
Yeah. And, alright, now coming back to the NFL thing. Do you think that patriotism should have limits? And do you think it's going too far in terms of patriotism? Or do you think it's fair what the opposition is saying to these people who are bending the knee?
I don't know. I think it's a difficult subject because there's nothing saying that they can't bend their knee in terms of the NFL. The NFL hasn't really taken a stance either way as of now. Although they haven't obviously given Kaepernick a job, which is unfortunate for him, but they haven't really taken a complete stance either way. But yeah, I think there certainly seems to be quite a divide, and it seems that you see African American athletes as the ones taking the knees in general.
There's actually a lot of white people doing it now as well.
Yeah,
since popularity has increased, you know, they just want to trigger Trump more.
You see sort of a bit of a sort of, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think it's like NFL. It's a very sort of masculine game, I guess. It's a really rough, robust game, and I think it's in a way standing for the anthem with a big like upright with strong posture is kind of part of it. In a way, it's kind of been embedded into part of it, which is why I think there's probably such a big outcry when people go against it.
Right.
On top of the fact that they value the flag and they value
patriotism and all that. But it's ironic with the freedom because, you know, America is known as freedom, you know. Everything about it is freedom, you know, gun laws and all that. Everything's about freedom. But when it comes to, you know, putting the knee, you know, having a knee.
Yeah, because they're looking at it as disrespecting the nation.
That's exactly right. But as with, like, freedom of speech, for instance, you know, that's literally...
That's like, isn't the First Amendment? First one of the whatever, First or Second Amendment, whichever one it is, right? And because the main argument that the right provides to the left is that you want to take away our freedom of speech, you want to take away this, you want to take away that, and then when this happens, it's the exact opposite that's true. And I find that a bit ironic.
America, they just like to contradict themselves. I think, and they're just very, you know, contradicting.
You can say anything you want except the things that you don't want to say.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as long as it supports me, I'm fine with it. But if it doesn't support me, you know, go away.
Yeah.
Alright. Well,
another question.
So it'll be interesting to see what eventually happens with this situation in terms of whether the NFL comes out and states direct policy on players standing or not standing, and what owners do in regards to Kaepernick, who's been such a vocal.
Just out of curiosity, is he like a player for your team?
No.
Yeah, you're very strong about Kaepernick.
He's the guy who started it though. He was the first guy.
No, I'm just asking because you just.
No.
Which team do you support?
I support Seattle.
Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
He's from Kaepernick did play for the San Francisco 49ers.
Alright.
Who are doing terrible. There are only 5. They could do it from the back. I would say.
There are only 5 of them left.
No, like 0 wins, 5 losses.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. And also with the NBA season coming up, to see what happens there.
Yeah, what they do. In regards to the
Kobe put out. Kobe was asked about this. He's recently retired. He said he would take a knee.
If he was still playing, he would take a knee.
Still playing. But Adam Silver put out a statement reminding everyone that the NBA's official policy on the matter is that you must stand for the national anthem. Adam Silver also put out, funnily enough, a statement regarding how he had hoped that Golden State would attend the White House, although that seems unlikely now that Trump has declined the invitation, or taken back the invitation he gave. Alright,
so it's been a fun discussion with Jaiden Ciantar.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. That's actually really
Alright, okay. That's good. And Jaiden Ciantar. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, as every YouTube channel says nowadays. And we'll see you guys next time.
The First Amendment is the freedom of speech.
First Amendment, right?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, First Amendment.
I think that's one.
Okay, it's your show.
Do it in the end. Do it in the end. Okay? Alright.
You giving out, I think?
Yeah.
Who do you have winning the NBA this year?
Which one, Cavaliers or Golden State?
Crap. LeBron's in the Cavaliers, so Cavaliers.
That was. I can't see anyone being Golden State. Although obviously I like my Toronto Raptors.
Curry's
Toronto Raptors.
Nudge out. At least make it to the finals.
Curry's
At
gonna
least
get done. No worries.
get to the
Curry.
finals.
Curry's way too like he's too popular for what he does. Like
Really?
you see the highlights, right, where he splashes every three,
Yeah.
but you don't see everything in between. Where he's like, he just he literally clearly just throws up. It's so dumb.
He's still better than Curry.
Kyrie, no way.
Yes, he is.
Untouched
LeBron.
Kyrie. I mean.
Just because you're a Boston fan doesn't mean Kyrie's.
Hey, Kyrie's like one of my favorite players.
Here we go again.
No, LeBron's the best player.
Yeah, no one can go on
Alright, so this has been a fun discussion with Jonathan.
Oh wait, that's gonna be in the.
Yeah.
I hope that's just in the bloopers because everyone's gonna be like watching this and be like, no, that's it.
You're gonna have to edit this one really well.
No, it's included.
No, wait. Whatever gets us more views is fine. So like strip Yeah, alright. So this was a fun discussion with Jonathan, that, and Jaiden Ciantar. See, why can't you surname like this? It's so much more simple.
It's not hard.
It's not hard. Krietenmeyer. Jonathan Krietenmeyer.
No, I
Orkojeet
can't.
Banerji.
See, you do it wrong too, so it's okay.